Hello and welcome guys to another Euro 2024 fantasy video. Today we're going to create not one, not two, but three different drafts. You can consider them as limitless drafts. You can consider them as wildcard drafts. You can consider them as best team possible. It will be basically all the same. So I decided to do in one video all those things together. I will be doing one Spain heavily favored draft. I will be doing one English heavily favored draft, and I will do one balanced draft to see how they look and what are the differences, and basically what are the common players between each draft and how you can proceed with the drafts and making them drafts. I know that a lot of you are still owning at least the limitless chip, so it's basically a good video for you. I'm not calling it a limitless draft or something like that because it's basically the best team. So that's why you're seeing that in the thumbnail. It is the best possible team in my opinion, but I'm creating three possible best teams for whatever liking you feel like doing. We're going to start with the first team that qualified for the final, and that's going to be the Spanish team. We're removing everyone. We're going to return several players. Don't you worry. But still, I want to get working. So now we have to include, I'll be playing in a 3-5-2 formation because I don't feel like going 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 or 3-4-3. I believe that two forwards are enough and five midfielders is the best approach going forward. Let's start with the defense though. In defense, I believe it is obvious who I'm going to go. Let's start with the goalkeeper. There are only two possible goalkeepers remaining. We can have 8 players from a nation, so let's have that in mind. So basically, first of all is Unai Simon. I know that he's 5.4, but basically I don't care about the price. Everyone has the budget enough to fund all the most expensive players, so the funds doesn't matter. So Unai Simon, Spanish goalkeeper, is the first Spanish player we're going to target. In defense, we're going to go with three defenders as already mentioned. And here I'm going to add one English player, but we will get to him. Now we'll add two Spanish players. The two Spanish players that I'm going to add are Dani Carvajal, who is going to be fresh after missing the semi-final, and he's going to be back immediately into the lineup. If by the off chance he's not playing, we will know before the deadline, so we can make the appropriate change. But for now, Dani Carvajal is into the lineup. Next, it's a big dilemma between Laporte and Cucurella, but I believe I'm going to go with Laporte because some ball recoveries and set piece threat is another thing that I want to consider. So Laporte is in. Now the three defenders from the Spanish teams are in. So we need now to put in 5 more players, and those players are going to be basically from midfield onwards. The attack is obvious. I'm returning Yamal. He's going to be the sole striker from the Spanish team. He's the right winger for their team. He's so dangerous. Morata is a great shout out as well, but I feel like I don't need him. He hasn't been performing very well and his returns are not up to par. So honestly, I won't be going there. Now in midfield, we will get 4 players. So it's going to be heavily stacked of Spanish midfields. Olmo, Rodri, and Nick Williams are back into the frame. From here, Olmo and Rodri are the guys that I like the most because Rodri might be on penalties. He's a 120 minutes player and he is making a lot of ball recoveries, a lot of great passes, and he can score from outside of the box. And England have been conceding some goals outside of the box, so he's going to be a good player to own at that point. And the third player, Nick Williams here, that I was mentioning, he's going to face Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker has a reputation of basically pocketing fast wingers, and that's what Nick Williams is. If I'm going with the heavily favorite Spanish lineup, I'm not going to not pick Nick Williams because he can provide a minute of magic and just dribble past on the counter or something like that, and he can score. So Nick Williams, if I'm going with the heavily favorite Spanish squad, is going to be involved into the frame. And the last midfielder here we're missing, I believe it's obvious as well, is going to be Fabian Ruiz. I know that he is performing in some periods, but he's the fourth midfielder playing for Spain 100%. At least I don't see him being benched, so he is now into the frame. Going now for English players because we have all of our 8 Spanish fields taken. If you don't believe me, I cannot add more Spanish players, so 8 of them are going to be Spanish. Now, thinking about this lineup and how it looks, the one guy that we didn't talk about was Omo. Omo is a great shout for a captaincy option, and I believe is going to be between him and Carvajal for that lineup. For now, I will put the captain's armband here, but no, it's not going to count. But still, I believe Omo is a great shout out. He has been scoring in every game that he's playing more than 30 minutes. So here he scored and assisted, and here he scored. So he has been performing really well, and he's one of the best players in the tournament, and he's fighting for the top scorer reward. Now we have to put in some players from the England side. First of all, Mark Gay immediately comes back into the lineup. 4.7, it's a steal. He's making a lot of recoveries. I know that this is a heavily Spain favorite lineup, but still I believe Margay is a must own, and anyone that does not own him, I would suggest you get him. Up front, I will be introducing Harry Kane, of course. I will be not starting a game without their penalty takers. I know there is a rumor that he might be injured or something like that, but we'll see that. If he's not there, I will go for Morata and replace maybe Fabian Ruiz with a second English midfielder. But the English midfielder that I want to include is Bukayo Saka. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play a full back, he can play uh, basically a right or left back. He can play in a lot of positions, and he has been the most exciting English players, one of the most exciting English players here. I might recommend as well Declan Rice. I know that has been avoiding him since the start of the game, but with a lot of ball recoveries, he is a 3-4 pointer 1000%. So if you want some nailed 4 points, Rice is your guy. If you want some more excitement, it's Bukayo Saka. Basically, if Kane is injured, I'm going for Morata, which is not the most ideal position. And if he is injured, I may go for the striker that England are starting, being Watkins or Tony, instead of going for Morata. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. For sure, for now, Harry Kane doesn't seem to be injured and he's into the frame. The other options, you can fill them in with whoever you like. You have 31 million, so even if I return the most expensive players that I own, that is still enough, so it doesn't matter. The bench is not required here. You don't care about it. You care about the 11 players on the field. Now, going into the English lineup, I'm going to remove once again all the players. Those English players are going to be coming back, but for now, I want to keep it that way. For sure, Pickford is going to be in goal. It's an easy choice if you're going for an English favorite lineup. He's there, you pick him, easy choice. Then Margay returns 1000%. He's not going anywhere. He's in the heavily Spain favorite lineup. I'm going to pick him for the English one. Next up, the guy that I'm be going for is called Kyle Walker. I don't think I'm surprising anyone with that selection. He's returning some okay numbers. Yeah, this is not great, but he had an assist that was overruled by a slight offside, so he can be facing Nick Williams, and a lot of ball recoveries will come his way. So he's the one defender that I would go for that is different from Gay, and those are three defenders from the English side. Next up in midfield, we're going to heavily stack on midfield options with Saka, Bellingham, Rice, who we already discussed, and here I was deliberating between Mainu, who is getting some regular returns, to be honest, 2 points, 3 points, nothing so amazing, but the guy that I will be going for is called Phil Foden. I know that he has not returned yet, but if I'm going for a heavy English side, Foden is going to be the guy into the frame, and up front, 1000% Harry Kane is back. From the defensive department now from Spain, the guy that I'll be 1,000,000% going is Dani Carvajal. I like him a lot. Good price, premium price, but it's the final, so we go for it. Yamal makes a return, 1000%. He's there. He's the guy in form. He's the guy with the most potential. He's the guy everyone is talking about. So Yamal makes his return. And from the Spanish midfield, I am not surprising anyone, but I bring in Dani Olmo. As already mentioned, he's even a captain choice. But if I'm going with a heavily sided English formation, here the captaincy will go to either Harry Kane or Bukayo Saka, just for some excitement. I don't believe England are keeping a clean sheet, and I believe Olmo is going to score the goal, but if I'm going for heavy England, I will be going for Harry Kane. And now we'll go to the balanced draft that I think is the best one. Let's remove once again all the players that we selected. I hope you enjoy such type of content of providing a best team, a team to target, a team to consider. I like it. I like to see different options and I feel pretty confident. If I'm going for a mixed lineup, I will go with two defenders, most probably from England. Those are going to be Pickford and Gay, and I will return Laporte from Spain and Carvajal, who is 1000% into the frame. That will be the defense. Most probably I will be sticking with that defense for the final into my team. We'll talk about it on the stream. Don't forget to tune in for the stream. We're going to have discussions. I'm going to say my transfer plans. Let's see if you agree with them or not. You will be deciding that. Next up in midfield, I'm immediately returning Olmo and Rodri. For me, those two guys are required for the game because of the penalty shoutout and for Rodri and the ball recoveries, and for Dani Olmo being such a great player. Bukayo Saka makes a return here, 1,000,000%. Next up, we go with Declan Rice, who for me is going to get the 4 point standard. If he makes more tackles, it's going to be 5 points. So those points are going to come good. And now I'm deliberating between going for another English player or for another Spanish player. But most probably I will be going with someone like Nick Williams, even though he's facing Kyle Walker. I believe he's good. Here, this is the player that I want to rotate the most. It's going to be between him and Bellingham. Most probably, if you want to go big, you go for Bellingham. If you want to go rogue, basically, you stick with Nick Williams. But I may go and transfer him out because honestly, he scored against Georgia and assisted against Georgia. But after that, it wasn't too much for him. Yeah, two ball recovers and player of the match, but I don't see him performing very well. I may go for Declan Rice here regardless, but let's put Bellingham in. Most probably that is going to be my lineup at the end. So you say your opinion about it. Yamal returns here, and here I introduce Harry Kane back into the frame. So this will be the best balanced team. We have 5 Spanish and 6 English, which sounds a little bit strange, but Pickford and this position here are the guys that I will be most probably deliberating until the end. But let's say that for now, this is going to be the team. I know that this video is a lot of repetitive. Okay, recover and Rice. I am going for Rice 1000%. We'll see if I'm selling Bellingham or Nick Williams. Most probably Nick Williams because those returns are there. And yeah, that will be it. I believe English team has another player that I have not mentioned, and that player is Luke Shaw. The issue with him is I don't know if he's starting, but we'll see on the deadline stream. And even if he starts, how much time he spends on the field, that's going to be a mystery, but that's going to be decided on the deadline stream, and we're going to talk about it. But yeah, he's the shout out player that I didn't manage to put in, but I feel like if you're going for a heavy England side, Gay and Walker are just better picks, and one Spanish defender for me is a must, so I'm going there. But for the high probability, I'm most probably going to go without. Who am I going? Am I going for Spanish defense and English attack or English defenders two and one Spanish? We'll see what it goes. I want to hear your opinion. Share it down in the comment section if you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel. On the stream, I'm going to be setting a new goal for my channel, starting the FPL season and finishing up the Euro 2024. I want to see how everything is shaping up with my channel. I want to thank you for everything that you've done so far. I've uploaded an FPL price review. If you're interested, go and check it out. It's the same prices you've seen, but you hear my opinion about it, my reaction on them, and I believe you can extract some good information. I know that you are focused on the Euros right now, and then you are going to move for the fantasy, but if you want um, something to distract you from Euros and just see something different, don't forget to go to the channel, check the video. I believe I share my honest opinion and you like my honest opinion, so it will be good thing for you to just progress to that video and see it. We'll hear more prices from FPL in times coming, so I will be covering all of them and we will see my opinion on all of them, so prepare for more content. Maybe more double uploads are coming your way for the next couple of days, and then we will be completely focusing on the FPL world. But for now, let's focus on the Euros. Or, sorry about that. and just share your opinion about it. Once again, like it, subscribe, comment, all those great stuff. Turn on notifications on so you can appear on the stream. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.